Welcome back to the BucketHatSam YouTube channel, where today we are talking about my team, West Bromwich Albion, and we need to speak about Ryan Mason. There's a lot of general discourse going on currently with the West Bromwich Albion fan base. I was at the game last night against Birmingham City and there were quite a lot of boos in my corner at the Albion. So we need to have a discussion about Ryan Mason and the Albion going forward. A lot of people are calling for his head and calling to be sacked, and we're kind of going to do a little bit of discussion on that and just a general chat about Ryan Mason and about the Albion at the minute, because I feel like it's needed. We currently find ourselves 17th in the league. We've conceded 20 goals, 1 win in our last 5 games. It's not been good enough, but I think there's some more positive to take, especially from the most recent performances. The last 3 games for me, I think they're a positive to take from them. And I know from those in our last 9 points, we have only gained 4, which isn't good enough, but I think there's still some positives. That performance against Oxford, for me, there was a lot more positives than negatives. The performance against Coventry, that first half showed me what we were trying to do, what the Albion, where Ryan Mason was going. So I think the thing is, for me, when I was speaking about Ryan Mason, I've spoken about this on the channel before, what I was confused about with the Albion is I couldn't work out what our identity was, what we were trying to do, and you couldn't really guess the starting 11 as in, like, you could guess the clientele, the players, the personnel, sorry, but you couldn't work out what we were trying to do, what the aim was. Whereas now I'm starting to see an identity, an image, and an understanding what we're going to be trying to achieve on the pitch. And I think we saw that against Coventry and we saw that against Birmingham City last night. And I think that is definitely some positives that we can take from that. And I think that's the big thing for me. And last night against Birmingham City, it felt like for the first time the players were playing for the manager. There was desire, there was heart, there was so many players throwing their body on the line. I can think of Alex Mowat, Nat Phillips, I can think of Styles, I can think of Campbell. So many players throwing themselves and throwing their bodies on the line to not concede, which we've not seen that before. And I think earlier on in the season, at times, it felt like the team was just rolling over. And if sides started attacking us, we just didn't seem like we fancied it. Whereas recently, I do feel like there's been a little bit of a shift in that, and I think I'm starting to see some positives, because I know a lot of fans have had enough of him already, and I can see why some fans believe that. But I'm always going to look for the positives in these things, and I think some of the recent performances for me are giving me a little bit of hope, and I think that's the thing. One thing I do need to question, and I do think there's something that needs to change at the Albion. I saw this stat earlier here, so I don't really write many notes down when we do these videos. It's literally, I've written like 4 little notes to mention. Albion have now conceded 7 goals in the last 15 minutes of games. Only Millwall have conceded more in the Championship in the last 15. And I think something that needs to change is kind of this mentality shift that we need to kind of see, be a little bit braver. And I think we've seen it already, especially when you compare earlier on in the season and the way we were playing earlier on. We weren't brave ever. And I said this, we weren't attacking, we weren't going head to head with teams, we weren't pressing teams from the get-go. But I'm starting to see that. And I think there has been a shift in that. So that's a positive I can take from that. I think the way we went against Birmingham City and the way we went against Cov, straight away from the get-go, we were pressing high. That's how we got our 2 goals against Coventry, both of them through presses from Mikey Johnson, that right-hand side. Then last night against Birmingham City, we were pressing the goalkeeper, we were pressing the defenders. So there are some positives in that sense. I do think overall, I can see what we're trying to do. I can see what we're doing there. So that's brave in that sense. But I do think there's a little bit of naivety in some of the decisions, some of the changes, because on the 75th minute, especially again last night, obviously we conceded and we made the subs. We were trying to make the subs about 10 minutes before, but the ball kept going out for corners and throw-ins. So we never got to bring on the players that we wanted. But it's always defensive-minded substitutions. Now, I understand that was needed last night. You couldn't have, when Birmingham City were all over us and were kind of swamping us, we couldn't have brought on another attack, because that would have been just stupid, because then it would have been even more overloads. But I do think quite often we do make like-for-like defensive-minded changes. It's never, let's go for it. And I do feel like subconsciously the team know that's coming, which is why we can't keep sitting back and why we keep finding ourselves having to soak up more pressure, why we keep finding ourselves inviting more pressure on. And I do think sometimes there needs to be a little bit of a mentality shift there, but I do still think there's positives to take, especially from what's going on under Ryan Mason at the minute. I'm starting to see what we're trying to do, and it's little moments. And I know I sound like Ryan Mason by saying moments here, and I know people will mock me, but that will come the time. Like, I was at Price last night, had a few chances, big chances as well. The one when he slotted it over to Hegebo when he didn't need to, and then when he took the shot and he probably should have passed it over to Hegebo. That will change and that will come with time. That is just a 50-50 moment where a player has got an instinct and makes the wrong decision. But that will come with time. Next week, he could take the 2 right decisions and we score and we win 3-0. That's the thing. I do think that it's not as negative as it needs to be. And I do think I can understand why a lot of fans aren't happy, because we do find ourselves 17th in the league currently on 22 points. But I also think, and this just shows you how mental the Championship is, we're only 5 points off the playoffs. We're 5 points off the playoffs. And I know people will always say, but we're also close. We're close to the relegation. We're 7 points away from the relegation zone. And I've seen from the last 3 performances, we are not in a relegation battle, whether people like to say it or not. And people will try and flip this because negativity breeds more negativity, and more fans start getting more negative, and you can't help it. Say if you've had a bad day, it's what I always think. If you had a bad day, you stub your toe at the start of the day, then every little thing that goes wrong, your tea bag splits as you put it in, you'll then start thinking, oh, this is the worst day ever. And I feel like that's happening at the minute with the Albion fans. Negative after negative after negative. And it keeps breeding more negativity. And I think we all need to just step back and look at where we're going. In the last 3 games, I can categorically say this. I think other Albion fans will agree with me on this. There has been an improvement, which is what we want. So I think we need to really kind of like get together to try and really back the boys, back the team at the minute. Because I think there's some positives to take with the way we're going. My personal opinion is I'd keep Ryan Mason in at the minute. I'm starting to see more so, and I still think with time it's going to come good. I will always do that. It's very rare. I used to do this in the past, but I'm trying not to be as emotionally attached and sack a manager, because all it does is it's the same cycle. We keep going back to the same thing, and what we had under Corberan was brilliant, but he went to go to Valencia. So that's the only time I can think of since maybe Roy Hodgson where we haven't got to a point where we're like, sack a manager, we then get a new manager in, and then it goes again. We need to back the manager. We need to back him. So I still think that we can come good with time. We are starting to see a kind of a turn in form. I can see the tides changing here. I don't know whether it's just me and whether I'm just way too positive, but I do think we're starting to see an improvement. And I think there's some improvements as well. You like to George Campbell stepping up massively. Griffiths is playing better. Callum Stiles is on fire. Mikey Johnston is showing the best form we've ever seen. So I still think, as a whole, it's going to be good. I still think he can come good. But I know a lot of people have had enough already. And I know a lot of fans have already switched off and are already Mason out. And I think we just need to try, because it's not good for the atmosphere, it's not good for the players, it's not good for the manager, and it just, again, it's not a good feeling at the minute. We need to bring back that positive atmosphere and kind of look at what we've seen in the last 3 games and can see, okay, yeah, we can see we're playing better. So personally, I am backing Mason. I'm in the Mason in camp. I still think there's more positives, and I think in the last 2 games, you can blame decisions of players. To be honest, I think the game before, Malumbi let us down. This week, Isaac Price made some of the wrong decisions. Realistically, we had some huge chances. We're creating chances, which earlier on in the season, we weren't creating anything. Our XG was so low. And I know some fans don't like XG, but I do think it's a good indicator sometimes of the quality of chances we were creating. But earlier on in the season, there was performances where we weren't even getting 0.1. Last night, 0.7. It's showing you we are going somewhere. We are starting to create more. And I still think there's positives. I still think there's positives for the Albion. So yeah, we needed to speak about Ryan Mason, and I've given you my opinions here. Let me know your thoughts on Ryan Mason. Have you had enough of him? What do you think? Do you think he's the right man? Do you think he's the wrong man? Please let me know down in the comment section below. I'm always intrigued to hear what you guys think, and you may change some of my opinions on it. But overall, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I've also got another West Brom Albion video coming out maybe Monday or Sunday, probably Monday actually, talking about me ranking all the players' performances so far this season on a tier list. So please do check out for that. Please like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by Christmas. Probably not going to happen. It's an outrageous thing to go for, but I do really appreciate it. And check out all the other socials, which will be down in the link down below, all of the description. In the description, sorry, all the links will be down there. So please do check them out. But thank you guys for watching. BucketHatSam over and out. And please stay positive. But also, let me know your thoughts. I'm very much intrigued. Thank you and goodbye.